Welcome, moms. Welcome to Inside the Moms Club. I'm your host, Monica Samuels, and I'm here with my co-host, Julie Orchid. Hello, Julie.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm terrific today. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, it's always pretty when we come.
It is.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of bug of wanting to move here sometimes.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Every once in a while while you're driving, you're showing me houses you like. So
I know,
have a
we do
feeling
do
that's
a
the
lot of
reason
that.
that you
For no reason,
that
I'm
you
not
were doing
moving.
that.
Yeah.
So we have an exciting show today, like really
I'm
fun.
super excited about it.
Yeah, we're very stoked. We have a really great guest, and one of the things that we were
Question
talking
I
about.
ask a lot of people.
Well, you were asking me last night because we were
I
talking
was.
about this. Like, what gives you joy? You asked me.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Like,
It was a hard
true
question.
joy. Like, what makes you smile and feel content? And I've really worked on my list in the last 24 hours.
Okay, well, let me hear your list because I'm still working on mine.
Well, I honestly feel that, people think that when you're like, oh, how do you break the mundane? Where do you find your joy? And you feel like you have to do something like travel around the world or, do something that's so grandiose that you need to be able to speak that. But for me, it's been finding little rituals, my little ritual in the morning of what I do, my animals, going to the dog park for me has become pure joy. That's something. Coffee is pure joy. It's just little things, road trips. And I will say some of the traveling in the last 5 years that I've done has been great. It's brought joy. It's brought healing. And I couldn't say enough about it. Mm-hmm. What about you? I'm not talented, so I can't do anything like art, guitar, sing, any of that.
Oh, I can do all those. So yeah, that
Oh
gives me
my
no-
God. Yeah, of course.
Actually, you know what? So for our Instagram and our TikTok, we have to do. Well, I have to do these funny skits, basically, and characters and things.
You are funny.
I actually get joy out of that. Now, because last night when you asked me, the first thing I said was, "Well, I used to love being my son's team mom of the baseball team. That
Right.
gave me tremendous joy." And yet, you pointed out that's through your kids. Is that
Yeah.
really you that's getting that?
Well, I think it's important to know that people you wake up and you're like, wait, I've lost a little bit, like we're going to talk about today, a little bit of my spark. Who am I? Who am I, when the kids aren't in and out of the house every day?
Yeah.
And you've given so much that how could you not feel like, a little bit like, oh, I need to revamp.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of energy.
Your identity over those years of having kids just get tied up to that. Well, like for
Yeah.
the years that we had, my husband and I had the Disney Vacation Club. And so we went to Disney so much because we had to, because we'd spent so much money on it.
Right.
That everyone thought that gave me great joy. And maybe it did at the time.
I don't know if you have it through like 2090,
I still
so
own
who
it.
knows?
Yeah, so I guess it has to still give
if
me
that's
some
joy,
kind of
yeah.
joy of some sort. But I mean, but I enjoyed it with the kids, and so I do like to travel now, so that's good. And now that
Yeah,
you
we've
pointed-
done that
I'm now
together.
getting more of a list now that I think about it. I have great joy when I go to Susie's Cakes and get their old-fashioned chocolate.
See?
That gives me joy.
It's a lemon
So
bar,
there
but
are-
okay, yeah.
Yeah, you like the lemon
Yeah.
bar. Yeah, there are things, but that's the thing. I wrote a book years ago called Comeback Moms, and it was for women who wanted to take time off from work and stay home with their kids and then be able to reconnect back to the work world later. And like we always said, what's your next act going to be? What's your comeback going to look
Yeah,
like?
I think that's...
And that's when you have to also decide, what do I care about? Like what tell me about me.
Well, what I've decided is that even if your day is like just steady and you're not doing a lot, that day counts. Today counts. And I have started to really journal and really find maybe one or two things out of the day that fills you with gratitude. Gratitude's no joke. If you really lean into it, I mean, I'm not a motivational speaker. I sound like one right now, but I'm not. I'm just saying gratitude is huge. Like if you can pick one or two things, I think that brings me joy as well. Mm-hmm. And I could now talk about this all day when I had trouble even finding.
I know last night
one.
we were struck. Like the first when you said that, what gives you joy? And I thought,
maybe
wow.
that's why we've been up since 2:15 a.m.
Well, I did wake up at
Yeah.
2:30 this morning, but that did not give me joy. I have to say, insomnia does not.
Listen, I think it's a question that a lot of women ask themselves, and I think that my friends and I have been talking about it because I'm recently, 3 weeks out of not having any children at
Yeah.
home. I hope,
Well, they
because one
could
is
be
really
back.
trying to come back.
Yeah, they can come back.
Yeah, they can come back. But I'm just saying, like, you have to really, you have to really reinvent yourself. We owe it to ourselves. Heck, we are people too, and we get to enjoy stuff.
Well, absolutely, because as moms, we have to be there for everybody.
Yeah.
We're there for our husbands. We're there for the kids. We're there for the pets. I mean,
yes.
and I love the pets, but I mean, it's like everything. Like at some point, what about, and you don't want to seem selfish or
Yeah.
feel like you're being selfish, but what about me? Like, and then to where you even question, what do I like?
Right. I like to
Who
trash
am I?
the to-do list.
Yeah.
That's my thing lately. And it gets a little annoying because that to-do list gets long, but I'm enjoying myself.
Well, this is a great subject, and so we have the very best person.
Oh, good.
We have an expert in this country
Yay.
on this whole subject, and
All
we're
right.
so excited to have
Can't
her
wait
here.
to see how she came to this.
She is the author behind the very popular site findingjoy.net and several books, Get Your Spark Back, Mom Enough, and The Brave Art of Motherhood. Her content has been featured on The Today Show, Good Morning America, and countless publications. And get this, Julie, she is the mother to a blended family of 11 children.
Oh, my.
Wow.
That's amazing. Wow is right.
Please welcome Rachel Marie Martin. Welcome to the Moms Club.
Woo!
I am so glad to be here. And yes, I am the mom to 11 kids and a dog because we weren't busy enough.
Yeah, because you
Wow.
needed to add more. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. What are the age ranges of the kids?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they change. My husband always says they change every year, but I know one is turning 16 tomorrow. He's the youngest, and the oldest is 29.
Oh,
wow.
my gosh, what a busy house.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
It is busy, but I will tell you, it's not as busy as when they were all 10 and under that age. Whew, that is a different type of busy.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And, you're running on fumes at those ages, right?
Yes, so true.
Yeah. So tell our audience a little bit about your backstory. How did you come to? You're a prolific writer. People follow you. They get inspiration from your words online. How did that all start? What led to that?
Well, I always say I've always liked to write, but in the early 2000s, so I'm going to kind of date myself here. I was in a Yahoo group and I was writing and somebody said, "Hey, you should start a blog."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And for me in those days, that was in my first marriage and it wasn't I always say it wasn't healthy. It wasn't the right thing. And writing became an outlet for me. And the title, Finding Joy, actually came from that because I was so trapped within this, I thought I was trapped within this confines that I decided to go out on a journey similar to what you did last night and look for joy in the midst. And that became the name of the blog. Well, I just kept going at it, pursuing joy and encouraging specifically moms in the beginning, but now it's kind of morphed into women in midlife, how to go about finding joy, especially when life doesn't look like what we thought it would look like.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, it's important to note that, like, right out of the gate, you weren't like, find joy, find joy, find joy. I mean, heck, I think you had 7 kids, correct?
I did.
7?
I do.
You do? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you had 7 of your own and then added. But I'm saying, like, this wasn't something that you did right away. Like you said, like, I mean, people think you explain it in a way like A, B, C. Like, that doesn't really what life is about. And it's annoying that people think if you do A, you're going to get B. And that's, nothing's ever linear. So I'm really grateful that you spoke to that. But with everything that you had go on, this divorce, your son living far away, those are just a couple of examples. But how did you come to the grips of everything that you write about? You have an amazing following, obviously on Facebook and other places. Like, where did you find that? Where did you find the joy and to write about it?
People ask me that all the time. I actually think, because I really believe we all have these like superpowers that we tap into. And for me, it was this willingness to be vulnerable and to write about what we're all feeling. We were feeling overwhelmed, or we were feeling frustrated. Or what I found is a lot of women, a lot of moms felt alone. And so instead of making it look perfectly packaged, especially in the early days of social media, I would start to write about things like to the mom who feels like she's failing because
Yeah.
I was feeling like it, but I never wanted them to leave with, wow, let's just all feel like we're failing. I wanted to turn the page, to turn the perspective, and it to be like, I want you to start to notice the little things that really matter. Like where you were talking about the coffee or your
Yeah.
dog, or sometimes I even say the fact that your coffee stayed warm just a little bit longer
It's so
because
true. My
yeah,
God.
because
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't.
And when
And
it's cold, it's
it's
so
that
miserable. Like,
gratitude
yeah.
part of life, that little posture of really trying to look for something that's good in the everyday, because sometimes the day might not be a great day, but there's something that might be
Yeah.
good within it.
Yeah. So,
Now your recent book, Get Your Spark Back. So you lose your spark, and I mean, like, tell us about the spark.
she had
Explain
11 kids,
Well,
Monica. I
know.
mean, there's going to be some smart spark dimming. Like, come
I
on.
understand that.
Yeah.
But explain that to the audience. So
All right.
Where'd it
Well,
go?
so I fought after I got divorced. I was like the single mom. I was on fire and I really fought to get my life in order. And when you have to be super strong, sometimes you don't realize everything else you're just in full motion.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting remarried right at the beginning of 2020, like a couple weeks before the world shut down.
Right.
And then in the process of when we were all locked down, all of a sudden I thought I had this moment of like, well, who am I now?
Yeah.
Who am I as a writer? Because I wrote about those single mom years. I wrote about my financial struggles. I wrote all about that. And I didn't know what the pivot was. And my kids were getting older. The kids were graduating. They were going off to college. And I all of a sudden I remember looking at myself thinking, I don't know me. I know what I'm good at. I know that I'm good at being a mom. I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
productive. I know I can write. I can do that. But who am I at the
Mm.
core? And that to me was this journey of getting my own spark back. And I went on a massive journey without knowing it about figuring out who I was, so much that my readers actually started to write in and ask, how do I get my spark back? And I thought, oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
is what they're asking. They're witnessing it evolve in me. And that was the inspiration for the book.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What's the year been like? I know that this book came out, correct me if I'm wrong, but in August of 2024. So you've had a whole year of, getting just the ride of it. What's it like?
It's amazing. I think the most unbelievable part for me is to get to meet so many people
Uh,
along the way. So many people that have that moment of, you know what, I can do this, because that's always been my mission, is if I can be a spark of hope for somebody else so they can look at their life and they can be like, you know what, I am so worth and so worthy of figuring out who I am right now and
mhm.
taking back and doing it without guilt. I know in the beginning you were talking about sometimes it feels selfish.
Mm,
And I just want to flip the narrative and be like, it's so giving to take care of yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
so, when you take care
yes.
of your own self, you're inspiring your friends to, but you're also modeling to our kids, look, it is worth it to invest in our own stories.
Well, I think being depleted now, my new motto is being depleted is dumb. Like, I mean, honestly, like being depleted of energy, being depleted of your, you know what I mean? Not giving back to yourself. Like, and I think that she has a really good point. Taking care of yourself is huge.
Well, right, because how can you contribute productively if you're depleted? If you're not,
I
if
know.
you're feeling it.
Monica did not like that I just said depleted is dumb.
Do you
I
have a,
liked it. I thought, ooh, that's good.
do you have a
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, I did like it. I didn't say anything.
No.
Do you have traveling around and talking to some of your audience? Do you have a favorite story of someone who got their spark back
Ooh,
and
yeah.
told you, hey, I credit you, and here's what happened? Is there?
There's so many little stories that have happened, but the one that stands out to me, actually, it'll make me emotional, was
Mm.
last year, right around when the book was launched. I had a reader that wrote in, and I've never met her in real life. And she said she was going through something that was really hard, divorce, all of that. But my story, this book, all of it gave her courage to go back to school. And she had
Oh,
adult kids and all that because she wanted to finish up her degree. And about a month ago, I was going through my inbox, and I'm not very good with email. I'm always going to tell people that, terrible with email. And I found her another email, and it was a picture of her at school. And I think she only needed to she got an associate's degree graduating with her kids next to her.
Oh,
And she
oh,
wow.
said that it was the inspiration, that moment where she thought, I'm going to finish my education. And I cannot, it's just, it makes me so
yeah.
overwhelmed with gratitude that I get a spot on this earth to be that vessel that maybe opens up
Yep.
somebody else's eyes to, like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fight for my story on this planet.
Good for you.
That
God, I
is
love that.
great.
Yeah.
What's your connection been like to your audience? Because one of the things that we do, we're really, so the Moms Club is all about women's friendships and the
Hmm.
connections that we have with each other. And we're starting these chapters all over the country of women getting together and just connecting with each other. What has your experience been with your audience? Have you developed good friendships out of through your audience? Do you connect with some of them, or what's that been like? Because you have such a vast audience.
It's an interesting journey. I will say that just last week, so I live in Nashville, and a couple of readers who ended up helping me with early book launches, we ended up communicating. We've become friends. And so I met up
Oh,
with them downtown Nashville for breakfast, and I felt like I had known them forever because I really believe that the audience, I'm so grateful for them. I really, I encourage a lot of writers and entrepreneurs, especially building an audience, to take the time to invest in them. They're coming into your story, leaving a comment. And I tell people I can't respond to everybody anymore. It's gotten
Yeah.
so
mm-hmm.
large, but I do take the time that I can, and I try to comment and to really listen to what they're saying. And as a result, when I did the book tour, I was all over the country, and I got to meet people that felt like we were friends already.
That is
Yeah.
great. That is great. So how do you feel about like women really connecting with one another, and how important that is? I mean, do you feel like that we need to encourage more of that, which is basically what we're doing here?
Well,
Totally.
I love that you have your mom chapters because I truly believe that when we're together, we are stronger. It doesn't mean we have to always be alike.
Hmm.
I always tell my kids that story of the bundle of sticks, and one can be broken, but when you put a bunch together, it can't because it's so strong. And it never says in there like it's a bundle of oak sticks or walnut. It's just, I always think it's this vast differing types. And that's how we are as women, is we can be stronger when we're together. And then I like to really, really remind women, especially, that in some ways, when we bond, we come together and we support each other and celebrate each other's victories and hold each other in the
Hmm.
hard times, and we speak truth to each other, we are honoring the generations and generations of women that fought for us to have a voice. Like, we have this voice now. And the best thing we can do is honor that fight and form and forge solid friendships.
Yeah.
That is
I
great.
mean,
That's
that's,
true.
yes. Nothing could be truer, right? I have a question about you having the courage to bringing the truth to the surface. You've talked
Mhm.
about a lot of hard things, and a lot of times that you'll take away the power of the silence and you bring it to the surface. And you've talked a little bit about that, with people. I mean, mainly finances for women and getting a hold of your getting a hold of yourself, that you can do it, and not to put your head in the sand. You've done a really good job of bringing stuff to the surface. Can you speak to it?
Well, I tell people, it's interesting to me is the very place that I felt shame for most of my early years of my adult life was my finances, because
Hmm.
my first marriage, the finances, dismal is not a good enough word. But it wasn't, I know, it wasn't until I brought that to the light. It was like when you hide behind the places that there's shame,
Yeah.
you can't heal. Like, shame is like it's a barricade. It stops you from seeking the answers that you need or opening up paths. And so the irony for me is that first time I was on the Today Show, I ended up talking about financial healing for women.
Oh.
So what was very frightening for me, where I hid, became the very thing that I was so impassioned, empowered, and wanted to speak about, because I really want women to be able to talk about finances, to talk about them in a knowledgeable way, and to be empowered to take back that area of their lives.
I mean, you must have felt a little bit of freedom, like a massive amount, not even a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is freedom. There's kind of freedom in, like, I think when you're hiding, you're like spinning all these plates, and you're working so hard to keep the hide so that nobody knows
Yeah.
that you're trying to hide stuff or you don't want to talk about it. And when you finally decide, I'm tired. I am tired of this. Or for me, it was going through this divorce that was, I always say it was private public because I was a writer. When they fell, I had this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to pick all these up. Why was I even bothering with that? I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to encourage women to step into their true calling.
Well, and
Yeah.
I love the title of one of your books is The Brave Art of Motherhood. And being brave is so important. And I know in the financial part of it, I guess there was one story you told about finally calling a debt collector and just saying,
I
"Hey,
did.
I owe you money. How do we work this out?" Because so many people hide, and
Well,
that's
they
And
think
which
if they
makes
don't,
it worse. It
yeah,
just
talk
yeah.
about
makes it
it.
worse.
But
It
it
snowballs
takes
it.
some bravery to
What
do
I
that.
finally had to tell myself is the guy or the gal on the other line is not out to judge me. It was
Right.
like I had put all these presuppositions. They were actually almost grateful to hear me to work it out. And so there's this empowering part. I think we start to tell these stories about I can't do it, or what will people think, or all of that. And again, it's like that barricade of shame, and we don't do anything. But when you don't do anything, you may think I'm just choosing not to do it today. You're actually kind of going backwards a little bit. And every time you do even a small thing, you're pushing the momentum and changing it to go forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Growth, right?
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
amen to that.
absolutely.
That's for sure.
Well, you are so inspiring, and we just love talking to you. But you know who else would love to talk to you are our Zoomer moms. So welcome,
we do
Zoomer
have a
moms.
few. I'm
Welcome
so
to the Moms
excited.
Club. Ladies, I'm going to introduce each one of you and share a little bit about yourself. Tell us your name, where you're from, and then do you have a question for Rachel? First, Tammy, welcome to the Moms Club.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So, Rachel, I'm Tammy White, and I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I am divorced. I'm a nonprofit CEO, and I'm the mother of one child who was adopted at birth, and she's now a junior collegiate lacrosse player in the Midwest. So, super excited to listen to you all. And I do have a question for you and a little bit of a comment. So I will tell you, this is truly, I love this topic. It really aligns with who I am in terms of I'm one of those people who really likes to practice gratitude and finding the good in everything and praising it. And but I have struggled with that one word, and that's joy. And it's a word I don't like to say and I don't like to use. And my aversion to it is because it's the name of the other woman who caused my divorce and the breakup of my family. So I'm a person who, when I'm looking at Christmas cards, they might be beautiful, but if that word's in it, not gonna
It's
buy
going in the
them.
trash.
And
Yeah.
so, given that, I'm grateful for where I've gotten, and I really like this whole notion of finding my spark, or I'm going to say I'm going to find sparkles because it's going to be more than one, right? But what do you think blocks us from finding, the sparkles? And how can we overcome that in our life? And then if you have personal thoughts about my own aversion to that one word, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm not offended, but my closest friends know that that's just, if they're going to buy me a card, it's not going to have that word in it.
Good
Well,
questions.
Tammy, from a fellow Tennessean, that's nice to chat with you. And I'm sorry about the story, that part that you've had to walk through too. And I think that maybe you don't use joy as your word. you have full autonomy to choose a different word for that.
Yeah.
Maybe yours is finding your spark or your sparkle. And I love the idea of sparkle with that. And I really believe that, so joy is interesting to me. And it's interesting because it's a word that's different than happiness. But I started writing a lot about happiness in Get Your Spark Back. And maybe that's the word too, because I discovered in my own life that happiness had this like weird thing where people wouldn't say, like it was a selfish word. Like people would say, oh, you want to be happy? Like as a writer, I thought, well, this is strange because it had this layer of being selfish until I realized, you know what? This is my time on this planet. This is it. And I am worthy of moments that make me happy. That it going back to that simple coffee or sitting on the beach or spending time with friends or getting to talk with people. So that would be my encouragement with that, along with, with gratitude. I think that gratitude also got a little bit of a bad rap over a couple of years or in the time that I've been writing. And because it seems cliche in some ways, like, oh, just be grateful, be grateful. And for me, when I was struggling, just like, if someone was to say to you, go find joy, you're like, I don't think so. I just remember thinking, I don't want to be grateful. This is not something I want to be grateful about. So much so that in my first book, The Brave Art of Motherhood, and I remember my editor, like, are you sure you want to put this in here? I said that you should check your gratitude list because there might be some things on our gratitude list that we actually need to change. So for me in my own story, I gave a story of a truck that was repossessed. And I was mortified. I had all these little kids and I was embarrassed and I felt all the shame. And immediately I started thinking of, well, okay, think of the good things. And then it was like a lightning bolt hit me. I should not be grateful for this right now. I should not be grateful that I can go retrieve the bag that was in the back of it. This is something that I need to change. And so I'm always challenging myself and others to look at the preconceived ideas that we have about joy or happiness or gratitude and to really examine them. So like with gratitude, I tell people, maybe examine your gratitude list and is there something on there that needs to change? So with looking for joy, it might not necessarily need to be that word. It's really about, for me, this level of awareness. The older I get, the more conscious I have become of what goes on in my head and being aware, like, you know what? I don't need to believe that. That's not true. Or challenging it. Why do I think this to be true? So that would be what I would tell you.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it's a really good answer. You
That
don't want
is-
you want things to be meaningful, not necessarily be trite or like you said, it's, cliche like, but really think about it. Like I think that's
Yeah.
super
No, I think
cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like as humans, we try to like sometimes just push that over, like, oh, just look for something good without realizing that the person that's hearing that is like, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want that. So like, Tammy, I love that your friends are like, she is only getting,
Yeah.
happy festivities and merry holidays and all of that because they love you because
Yeah.
they know what is in your lane. And I don't think that you have to ever, unless you get to this place, think, I'm going to reclaim that. Maybe you just don't.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you take power and joy, happiness in where you are.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I will say, I feel like I have a great life. I'm extremely happy, and I can't imagine still being married to that person. So I'm in
Amen
a
to
great
that.
place. So thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
good-
that
Yeah.
encouragement.
No, that is
Yeah.
good. That is good
I
for
think
you.
that's a
I think
story
that's-
that needed to be shared, Tammy, that the reason why you don't necessarily love that word. I mean, we would have all been trying to guess, and you really brought something to the surface for a lot of women that, they're like, this is why I don't like it. And this is how it is to me. And that it's painful. So I need to find something else that fits.
Well,
So thank you.
I also like, Rachel, how you described all that, because when you're talking about gratitude, a few 2 or 3 years ago, we have a mutual friend who got really into gratitude. She had a gratitude app, and I thought, that just seems like okay. It's like now we have an app for
Yeah.
gratitude, and it didn't feel it didn't seem as important to me because it's been turned into just this
Kinda like a
just
chore.
like what is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the way you described it, explained it, is a lot better because it put a lot of meaning behind it, and that's
Exactly.
what's important. So
Exactly.
that's great. Bridget, welcome to the Moms Club. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and do you have a question for Rachel?
Absolutely. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm Bridget Massengill, and I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeehaw,
So
love
we're
it.
just covering the state today.
Yes.
I love it. I am a founding CEO of a regional economic and community development organization. I am married to a youth pastor, so I'm also pastor's wife. I'm also a rescue beagle dog mom of two. As if
Yay.
any of this wasn't enough, I'm also the mom. Actually, I also do health coaching on the side as well. Because I mean, who has time? Time, let's fill it in.
Yeah.
And this is really going to lead with my question for you, Rachel, because I'm also the mom of twin daughters. And my twin daughters just started their junior year of high school. They're in their junior year. And so we're upperclassmen. They
We're sassy.
are
Yeah.
big into soccer. They are big into basketball. I am the soccer mom. I am the basketball mom. I'm all the things. Our life is packed. But as 16-year-olds, they're starting to drive, they're getting their independence. And so life right now, it feels exciting as we enter the new phase. But I'm going to be honest, I'm truly terrified of what's going to happen a year and a half from now with the empty nesting. And you would think for someone like me who is completely overwhelmed that I would be looking forward to freedom, and I'm so not. And so the stage of motherhood that's around the corner with empty nesting, it feels exciting, but it really feels very bittersweet. And so I'd really love your perspective. A couple ways to look at it. How can moms like me navigate that transition with joy and purpose instead of focusing on the loss? And are there daily practices or mindset shifts that you would recommend for me to start learning how to embrace this upcoming season?
Love that question.
Me too. Me too. My son goes to UTC, so we're even a bigger connection. So UTC is a University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
That's right.
So, when you were talking, I thought and then you said it. I said, this is bittersweet. I remember learning about it as a kid. I snuck bittersweet chocolate from my mom's pantry as a kid, and I learned I didn't like it. But bittersweet is really this mixture. To me, it's letting go and holding on at the same time, because there is this process of this ache, because at the same one part, it goes so fast. Like you're thinking, it's already junior year. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And yet when you look back, it's so full. There's so many things, and you've been so busy. And what I discovered in my own life is when there's freedom, or when they grow, there also becomes more silence. And I first learned that when my youngest, the one who's turning 16 tomorrow, went to kindergarten. And I wrote a blog post called "Now the Windows Stay Clean." And I remember thinking, they're never going to stay clean. They're never. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days after he was there, I was sitting in my living room and it was quiet and the windows were clean. And the emotions were so overwhelming. I thought, well, how is this possible? And the letting go of them when you release the hand into adulthood, it feels the same. And it's a different kind of love. Like I have a daughter that she lives in Baltimore, came to visit in August, the best week ever. She's an adult. And when she left, I sat, I get emotional. Like my kids know it. They're like, you're going to cry, Mom. And I think that's good. I want them to see that love. But I ended up sitting on my front porch with this is so raw, with flight tracker on. watching for when her
Oh.
flight left, knowing that it was probably going to fly over my home here in Tennessee, watching and then seeing it and taking a picture of it, knowing my daughter was on it flying away. And I thought, that's motherhood right there.
Yeah.
It's loving them so much, you look for those little moments within. And so for me, like the daily practice is knowing that there's going to become more quiet and figuring out who I am in that quiet and figuring out, even as your daughters are driving now, of, okay, I need to start to fill this space with me, with something that's important to me, with something that fills me with joy. And then also giving yourself the grace to experience those emotions. Those emotions are because you love.
Right.
That is the bottom line. It is an emotion of deep love. And I want us to be okay with it. And so I wrote about the picture of my daughter. I took this, it's all blurry. I'm like zooming way in and there it is. My daughter's on that plane. And I wrote about it. And the number of moms that sent back a similar picture blew me away.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you're not alone. You are not alone. And all of us rally together with you because we get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage. I'm a new, empty nester.
nester.
I don't know if I love that term, but giving them wings, whatever you want to say. But it takes a lot of courage to take the phone call, to listen, and to do all that. So I have found that even if it's not super popular to write in a journal about what I'm about to write about, what is about to go on in your household, it's always something to look back on and then to go, we made it through that day and we're transitioning. And I get to look forward to the next chapter. And I will say that as my kids have grown, they love to look back. And I want my kids to say, oh my gosh, we don't even recognize that woman. And it's all in the best parts of her and who she has become. So trust me when I say they won't go far. You think in a year and a half, girl, they will be at your front door so fast,
Yeah.
it'll make your head spin. But it is a transition, and it's just like your book, having the bravery of motherhood, and it is gut wrenching and not for the weak.
That's
So,
true. And they
yeah.
do come back now and then too. Sometimes for longer periods than other times.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is
That is true.
Yes,
Or
yes,
Bridget,
yes.
I learned that
Bridget,
too,
I have a
college
great
kids.
idea for you. Bridget, because you sound like my kind of woman.
I think I know exactly what you're going to say.
I think you should start a chapter of Inside the
In
Mom,
Chattanooga.
Yeah, the Mom Tourage in Chattanooga. We would love to
Yeah, I
have
have a
one
house near Chattanooga. We could,
That's right.
yeah.
We could go see you there. Cherie, welcome to
love
the
it.
Moms
Let's
Club.
do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Do you have a question for Rachel? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello. My name is Cherie, and I'm also from Tennessee, but I live in Raleigh. For the past almost 30 years, we've lived in Raleigh. I'm a mom of 4 kids. They're all in their 20s. My husband and I recently moved from Raleigh, though, to a small town and bought a little farm. And I say we're sort of homesteader adjacent because I'm not by any means a full homesteader, but we're raising goats and chickens and ducks, and we have a couple cows. And so that's been a real fun new thing, and kind of new challenges everywhere. So that kind of leads into my question for Rachel, what is your biggest challenge or fear even that you face today as you're doing what you're doing right now?
Good question.
That I get overwhelmed. That's going to sound so strange, but I don't like to be overwhelmed. So first of all, from another Tennessee native, or actually I'm from Minnesota. But as someone that's from here, I just wanted to say that's cool that today.
Yeah.
But I have this part of me that thinks that when I'm going to do something that's challenging or new or hard, that I have to experience the emotion of anxiety or fear or overwhelm. And for me, I've been working really, really hard on catching that emotion. And the example I give is with this last book, I was on Good Morning America. And as we were driving there, I got that kind of anxiousness. And I had the moment of clarity where I thought, you know what? You better enjoy this. You have got to let go of that. You're prepared. You know what you're doing. you know your mission, you love this content, you'll be fine. Don't miss out on the moment. And so I remember going in thinking, I am just going to enjoy this. And it was such a huge paradigm shift that for me, the challenge right now is catching that, like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, or I don't know. And feeling that overwhelm and stepping back and going, what do I have to lose? My husband gave me some of the greatest words ever. He said, what's the greatest risk? Not doing it or doing it? And it has changed my perspective so much that I find myself very confident in my yes, but also just as confident in my no, because I know this is the journey. So for my biggest challenge, it would be that, and not feeling, I feel the pressure of time more. I feel the pressure of, I don't know if it's because I turned 50 and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, that next decade, that one feels different. Which I said at 40, of course, but I do feel the pressure of time, and I feel the pressure of my parents aging. I feel that challenge of letting go of my kids and also letting go of my parents in a way. They live in Minneapolis, which is about 1,000 miles from here. And I just know that the window of time is changing. And so maybe that's the definition of midlife, is we're being squished on both sides while we're expected to grow.
Yeah. Time's a beast.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, Bridget, what you described to me is that you're not going to have time to be sad, because it sounds like you might be running for president. Everything that you listed, I was like, oh my gosh.
Well,
yeah.
And these have all been great Zoomer moms. I really enjoyed it, and I love the Tennessee contingent here,
Yes.
especially in Texas. We love people. We're from Texas, so
Yeah,
we love
we like to say, oh, you're
love-
from Texas.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Now we will. We
Or
do
Austin. We like to say that.
Well, we do have a little thing about that UT thing. We
Yeah.
can't. That's still a thing between us. But yes, we're so thrilled that you all were here today. And Rachel, thank you so much. This has been amazing, as we say on the Moms Club show. And we could go on with this conversation all day long. It's been so great.
You're an incredible speaker, and you really
You
promote
are.
words that we all need to hear.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Well, share with our audience where they can all find you on social media, because I know they're all going to want to start following you.
Well, I'm so grateful to be here. I could have kept chatting for a long time,
Oh,
too.
totally. Yeah.
Most people find me, it's either findingjoy.net, the website I started way back in 2008, or a lot of people will find me on Facebook. If you search Finding Joy blog, my face will pop up, and there's a blue check mark that says that Facebook has verified that I'm a real human.
Yes. Like that.
Okay.
Because
Well,
we need to
great.
know that these days.
Well,
That
definitely.
is so true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely follow Rachel on social media. Follow us on social media at Inside the Moms Club. We're on all the platforms. And we also want to thank today our sponsor, New Calm. We
Yes.
absolutely love New Calm. New Calm has saved our friendship because
Spell it for us, because it's always confusing to me.
NUCALM.
Yes.
And it is an app that helps you sleep better, focus,
Meditate.
create.
Yeah. Give energy.
You get energy from it. I'd use it sometimes when I exercise. I mean, it is great. And if you put Moms Club in the code at checkout, you get 15% off every month.
Love a
that
discount.
You are a member. Yeah, great discount for you. So please be sure and do that. We also have some exciting news. We are forming chapters. We're going to have chapters all over the country, and we're starting now with our live events. And we're going to be having live events soon in Nashville, Atlanta, North Dallas, and Shreveport. Check the Inside the Moms Club website for the local event details. These are fun, free, and informative. We're going to have some great guest speakers.
Yeah.
And we're going to have prizes. People get, you can win things at these events. We had these events, we've already had some.
And you meet new people.
You meet new people, it's great. And actually, the prizes are great too. I tried once to throw my card in there thinking, I picked myself.
Had to fish it out of the
they didn't
bowl.
let
It's
me
like,
do that
Monica, you
anyway.
don't get to
I
play.
know.
Yeah.
But there's limited tickets available. So when you get the opportunity, secure your ticket at InsideTheMomsClub.com. Well, Julie, again, it always happens so fast.
I can't think of a better show to end on finding joy or get your spark back, because Lord knows I have to ask myself that a lot.
We're gonna go get our spark back here in Los Angeles at
That's
the mall.
right.
The mall
Yeah.
is one. Shopping is one place where I do get my spark.
Monica's been waiting 1 hour to tell you that shopping is where she gets like her joy from.
Yes, I do get it there.
It's
so.
fun.
Well, we'll be back next time, moms out there, with celebrities and extraordinary moms.
That's
and
right.
we know your me time is precious and valuable. Thanks so much for spending it with us. Remember the Moms Club motto. If you don't laugh sometimes, ladies,
You are going to cry.
So keep laughing out there. We'll see you next time inside the Moms Club.